This video was just going to be about how much I hate the Mona Lisa, but that's boring. And it's important to give my hate the proper context. See, it's not about Lisa, it's about everything else. So let's give Lisa a fair shake alongside the rest of the Louvre. Roll the titles. Some of the greatest works of art are on display in the Louvre in Paris, and so is the Mona Lisa. A building filled with some of the best artworks in the world is intimidating, so how do you work your way through a space where every work demands hours more attention? I'm going to judge some of the paintings that resonated with me on my trip there, and maybe you'll come away with a new perspective on how to look at art, and maybe you'll come to agree with me about why I so dislike the most loved woman in all of Paris. Liberty leading the people. Oh god, I can't show that. Hold on a second. That's better. Okay. Complete chaos and horrific bloodshed, being led into the future by a symbol of the pure and innocent. The pure and innocent here being symbolised by a woman with her tits out. Certainly we know where our eyes should be drawn first. That's right. The flag, like any patriot. But the onlookers in the background are more concerned with a nude corpse, or, more reasonably, a baffled-looking child waving two pistols around like he's Jean Lewick. Truly we can see how history is built on reckless violence in the name of a better world in this painting. Yet for how horrific it all seems, I can't help but deny I'm being drawn to the glory and the greatness being depicted here. Maybe that feeling of a call to honourable murder is the reason that all revolutions happen. You don't need to be an art critic to appreciate art. I'm clearly not. You just need to ask yourself what you're looking at and how you feel about it. Actually, my dumb joke about the flag doesn't really work, because nobody has a reputation for oppressing their own lower classes and destroying their own ruling class like the French do. No one else deserves such recognition for the frequency of tormenting and reconquering itself. That helps us understand the glorious framing of this scene. The history of Paris is a lot of senseless violence, so no wonder they need to cope and tell themselves that a better world is going to come out of it. A better world here being represented by a woman with her tits out. And something you need to be at the Louvre to really appreciate is the bigness of these tits, of this canvas. It wouldn't fit on my whole living room wall. It demands your attention in a room full of other beautiful paintings. Much like a bloody revolution demands your attention in a history book. Or an advert on a dodgy website that suddenly pops into the middle of your screen. The message will not be ignored. I think the main takeaway from this painting is more is more. Pandemonium. If you'll forgive the technical language, this painting goes hard. What's most impressive is the implication of scale. The frontage of a grand building stretches on forever. Not only is it terrifying, it's also immense. John Martin was great at making his paintings feel as epic as a scene from a fantasy story, and underneath this facade, this frontage that suggests civilized people are here, is an equally massive series of caves. Ominous. Who could dwell there? Is it taking shelter, or waiting for something to carelessly come in hoping for protection? Honestly, I take my chances between the magma and the lightning, but I can't recommend what this guy is doing. Waving like, "Hey, are you friendly in there? I've got a bag of body parts I need to hide. You can have them if you want." Not really. The way this is framed, a solitary figure facing down an endless foreboding structure implies power, confidence, and dominion. But the real hope, I'm sure, is that they'll find a barber inside who can conquer their hair, because honestly that style is wild. The inclusion of a single figure dressed for a fight, facing down the hellish landscape, strikes me as a relatively modern depiction of hell, inspiring the kind of individualistic power fantasy you might imagine from metal music or the Doom video games. Mona Lisa. And so we come to the worst painting in the Louvre. Okay, it's a good portrait. The realism, the shading, the indifferent expression is iconic. In a building full of the world's greatest paintings, it is certainly another great painting. But that's not what's so bad about it. This is. It's the only painting in the Louvre you need to line up in a big crowd to go and see. And then you can't even get close to see the detail. Instead, you just see people getting their phone out and taking a picture. Forgive me for thinking that fame has ruined the experience of seeing the Mona Lisa. And no, for the record, I did not line up to get a better look at Lisa. Honestly, if you go to the Louvre, your time should be spent looking at other, better paintings. Such as this one. Two good boys tied to a tree stump. Hello, anyone out there who wants a lesson in painting expressions that stare directly at you? Don't ask Da Vinci. Look at this dog because he is staring into my soul. I'm going to call him DeWoofy. See that paw lift and curled? You can tell he was on the move, but he's now noticed you and he's sizing you up. And I'd be thankful he's tied up because that visible rib cage tells me he's hungry and lean. I don't know how Bassano got so good at painting stares that look towards you, because all of the humans he paints are looking slightly up like they saw a cool plane, or looking down like they noticed someone's flies are down. The dog's mate, on the other hand, is a pretty chill guy. I'll call him Barcano, waiting patiently for his master to get back. In real life, it's rare to see two dogs in such different states right next to each other, one alert and one at peace. I understand them both. I know the instinct not to trust anyone and to stand ready to stare down all the threats lest you fall victim to your own naivete, but even a hunting dog needs rest. And it's not like you can do much while tied to a tree stump. I wonder if Barcano is just quietly confident in his own ability to keep himself safe, or resigned to being restrained and powerless. Also, forgive me for romanticising the past, but this painting feels like the dog equivalent of a Charles Atlas advert. It looks like real dog behaviour, you know, back when dogs were real dogs. No miniature poodles or pugs, no squashed faces or crooked spines. You were only a good boy if you could fetch the dead waterfowl or chase away the taxman. My dog whines to be lifted up and down from the sofa. Sorry, Billy. But that's the kind of romanticised thinking that a great painting can inspire. You should go to the Louvre or any good art gallery. There are any number of paintings that can touch your soul like these dogs have poured mine. But don't wait for the Lisa. I feel like it's too cliché to be awestruck by Lisa at this point anyway. Don't look for famous paintings, look inside yourself and ask yourself, what speaks to you?